Good evening and welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be discussing how to monitor sales from anywhere in the world. All right, so today we're going to be covering some really interesting steps on how you as a business owner can track the sales happening within your chain of shops. Now, some of you who are attending today have several stores where you sell products, groceries, clothes, and other items. And you've been struggling to figure out ways to keep track of sales happening in real time across your stores. Many of you have been experiencing challenges with theft and a few other difficulties, which are really unavoidable in a situation where there's no system in place to keep track of things. So today we're going to be going through different tools within the package that will allow you to better monitor your sales, track the performance of your cashiers, and even go as far as track your stock levels. So without further ado, we'll be going into the presentation. Now we're going to be doing a little housekeeping. All right. So first off, well, for those of you who are live on the Zoom app with us, no cameras, please. Just join the meeting and there's no need to switch on your camera. That will actually slow down the bandwidth of the connection. Secondly, please stay till the end to learn about our unique offer. Third, we're going to try and keep this presentation as short as 45 minutes. So please just stick around. We're going to be as efficient as we can be with your time. And then please note that you can post questions in the chat area. For those of you who are streaming through YouTube, please post your questions in the chat area. We're monitoring it. Those of you who are in the Zoom room with us, post the questions in the chat area, and then we will be handling the questions when we get to the question and answer segment of this presentation. Now, we would like you to mute your microphones for those of you who are in the Zoom room so that it doesn't bleed into the call and distract the rest of the attendees. All right, so here's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be going over a few introductory content, and then we dive into how you can record sales from your multiple locations. If you have a single store, that's fine. But what you're going to learn here today is going to go a long way towards educating you on what you're going to do when you open that second store and the third store and so on. Next, we're going to look at how to get your sales report, how to access your sales reports. And then we'll look at the cashier reports. And also, we're going to be talking about a special offer. Now, the offer will be covering a special rate that we will be offering for those of you who attend this session. All right, and it's simply going to be a very highly discounted service, which we'll be offering you for taking out the time to be a part of this session. All right, so is our own way of saying thank you. All right, so and then finally we'll have the Q&A segment of the presentation. So let's dive into the introduction. So who am I? All right. So my name is Dr. Adabremchi Aja Onu. Yes, I am a doctor, trained optometrist, but I have been practicing ICT for over 20 years. Okay, so recently I served as the head of ICT at Studio 24 Nigeria, And over the years, I've helped businesses deploy business apps that would help them enhance their efficiency and profit. Now, in the course of that, I've tried to get businesses to understand that technology exists to make work easier. And at some point, I tried to encourage as many of them as possible to embrace it, because I felt that at a certain time, technology would become very helpful in the event that there was an incident that would keep people from moving around, and they would need technology to keep their businesses afloat. Now, I did not foresee the pandemic. I only foresaw a situation where there would be a restriction of movements. At the time, I had riots in mind. I had flooding, because we had several incidents of flooding in Lagos at the time. But that was what I was thinking. I was not thinking about a pandemic. But then in 2020, the pandemic happened, and a lot of businesses could not function because they did not have the tools in place to continue offering their services to their customers. Most of them did not have their customers' databases to keep in touch. And so a lot of businesses paid a heavy price for ignoring the use of technology in their operations. So it gave me an impetus to start broadcasting more of my content, because I felt if I had pushed out what I had to say earlier, maybe a few more people would have been prepared for what happened during the pandemic. So I started a podcast where I talk about these things, and I started posting more on my channels. So what exactly is the problem? All right, so you're here. I'm sure that there's a reason why you're here, and you want answers. You want answers to a specific problem. And that problem is, how can I track sales within my retail outlets? Now, you may have one, and you may be someone who owns a business, a retail store, but you don't have the time to sit in the store to oversee the operations within the store. And many times you have to leave the store and go elsewhere to attend to other things and so on. Now, you need to fix this problem, because many times, here's what happens. All right, number one, the problem is that most of you listening right now have a manual format of entering sales. You have a sales ledger, which you depend on the cashiers or the salespeople to fill. All right, there's manual stock keeping, and because things are so manual, you tend to attract low quality staff. Okay, these are people that only do what they're told. They write down what you tell them to write down, and many times some of them actually make mistakes while they are entering the information, and in many cases those mistakes are not caught until it's too late. Okay, the low quality staff can be both in the area of skill, and in some cases, the area of character. You might be attracting some people who see the loophole as an opportunity to make some money for themselves. Next, you have a situation where you can't track sales in real time because things are manual. If you are not within the physical vicinity of the business, you don't know what's going on. You're unable to keep track of the sales in real time. And then you also can't track your stock levels. So if you're a business that depends on knowing when your stock is about to run out, or basically track your stock level in order to protect your business from pilferage or theft or all those things that that happen in retail systems, you need something that can help you track all of these things in real time and flag incidents of pilferage when they take place. So the problem then is that this all limits the business's expansion, because now the business is just solely dependent on you. You can't do anything unless you're physically present at the business. So in the end, you're a prisoner of your own business, okay? So that is really what the problem is. And I believe that some of these points have, in a nutshell, described your challenge, all right? So we're going to be discussing how you can fix or solve these problems, all right? So we'd like to encourage you to please stay with us, okay? Remember, there's a special offer at the end of the presentation. There's a special offer at the end of the presentation, and I would like to share the offer with you because you'll find it very fascinating, believe me. So we're going to be breezing through the presentation as quickly as we can. So what is the solution? We've defined the problem. We've pointed out some things that you may be going through. So what is the solution? All right. So we're proposing a cloud point of sale software. Okay. Now, this is a point of sale software that runs in the cloud. Okay. I think the name practically describes what it's about. It's a point of sale software that runs in the cloud, meaning that it is not something that is installed in a local computer at your store. And why does that give it an advantage? It means that the data that is being generated at your stores are not trapped in the physical location. It means you don't have to be at the store before you can gain access to the data that you need. You can be anywhere in the world, connect to the cloud server, and have access to your data in real time. All right. So next, this software runs in modern browsers. Okay. If you have a modern browser, it will run on it. Okay. It is not going to trap you into getting specific computers or a certain grade of hardware before it works. All it needs is a browser. You don't need an expensive setup. You don't need something that will cost you an arm and a leg. All right. It's easy to use. It has a low cost of implementation. You can connect all your stores. You can track your inventory. You can track cashier sales. You can track all of that remotely. You can offer, you can get your sales report. It offers sales reports. It offers cashier performance reports. That means you can act. Now, if you have like 10 or 20 cashiers, you can generate reports for each cashier to see how much sales they generated each month and which customers they served. Okay. And there's a question that keeps coming every time we talk about cloud applications. People say, okay, so what happens when internet goes out? My business will be crippled. No, this software keeps working when there's a temporary internet outage. So your businesses can keep selling, and then they reconnect to the server and push the updated records into the server once the internet connection is restored. And this also runs on tablets and laptops. It's very interesting. You don't need to buy those bulky POS systems with the cash drawers. A lot of people like those cash drawers. They're great for organizing cash and so on. If you want to buy the cash drawers, it's great. This software will also work for that setup. But if you can't afford a cash drawer and all you want to get is a tablet, okay, an Android tablet, and connect it to the internet and just sell using that, you can also do the same with that setup. So the big question, so how much does it cost? Okay, you've gotten my attention. How much does this cost? All right, so I mentioned that there's a database that you connect to in real time from anywhere in the world. Now, when you're talking about cloud systems, the next thing you need to know is that someone is hosting the database somewhere, all right? And the database host will be charging a fee. So in this case, the fee is $40 monthly. Okay, now you can make a payment for an annual subscription, but the broken down rate is at $40 per month. That's what you'll be paying for the database hosting. So they will be responsible for keeping your database hosted and for making it available whenever you want it, anywhere in the world. Next, there's the deployment fee. Okay, the deployment fee starts at 100,000 Nigerian naira. The deployment fee is really optional. If you want to get the database and learn how to set it up yourself, that's fine. The deployment fee is optional. You can do it yourself, but most people choose not to, and they choose to make payment, okay, for the services. So the deployment fee is 100,000. Now, there are other additional configuration fees, like setting up the inventory management system and so on. There are additional costs to that, but we're only going to be presenting the basic deployment costs of 100,000 naira. This will cover the upload of your inventory and setting up the point of sale instances for all of your stores. Okay, now before we go further, I didn't mention this, but you also have access to an e-commerce feature within the software. So if, for example, you decide, okay, I want to try selling online along with my physical stores. Maybe I want to sell online and then have people come to the store to pick up their purchases from my stores. If I have 10 stores spread across town, I don't need to spend on delivery bikes and so on. People can make purchases online. I can give them a special discount online, and then they simply show up at the shop to pick up their packages. The orders have already been packed, and they just come in and show their invoices or receipts and pick up their products. Okay, so you might want to try your hand at that, and you just say, okay, I want an e-commerce store. The software comes with an e-commerce system that will allow you to make this happen. Okay, so you can turn on the e-commerce feature. You can sell your stock online, and it will track the sales of both your physical stores and the website and let you know which one is generating what sales. I mean, all of this for just $40 a month for the hosting of your database, and then a one-off setup for your physical store of 100,000. If you want the e-commerce system, then we'll be able to have that conversation on what kind of setup you want, and if there's an extra cost to that, then we can talk about that. But all of this, okay, all of these services, the installation or deployment fees and so on, if you order now, you can get all of that at 50% discount. Okay, now that means if all you're doing is setting up your point of sale system and that's it, you'll be paying 50,000 naira instead of 100,000 naira. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy offer, and only if you take advantage of the offer at the end of this presentation. Okay, so our offer covers, actually it's just in a few pages, so hang in there. Okay, so our offer covers the services, okay, the deployment services, but it does not cover the database hosting. The database hosting is handled by the database host, so we are offering you the services of deploying the software, making sure your products are uploaded, making sure that that the software is set up for all of your stores and cashiers. Okay, that is what you're getting at 50% off, okay, not the hosting fees. So I just wanted to make that clear. All right. Now, how do you claim the offer? So let's quickly dive into that. I promise that we're going to spend just a very short period of time. So we're going to just go through it. How do you claim the offer? The offer is claimed by, number one, visiting the address on the screen, host.webdiscode.com/store/POS. All right. That's first step. Second step is select your preferred package. Okay. And then once you're checking out to make payment, use this code on the screen. Now, why are we saying you should use the code on the screen? Because the code is going to deduct the discounted rate from the final fee that will be presented to you. So that's basically what that does for you. Okay. So that's basically how you claim the offer. So we've gone through the features of the tool. We've gone through how to claim the offer. We've given you the code. You can take note of the code. It's GO2CLOUD, go to cloud. Okay. And once you fill this into the checkout coupon field, you immediately get the discount that has been mentioned. So I want to do a recap before we dive into the demonstration and the Q&A. All right. So the Q&A is going to be responded to by a demonstration. So we don't have any of you posting questions yet. Okay, but we'll go ahead and do a demonstration. The demonstration will simply cover how to use the software, how to sell, and how to view the records at the end of a sale. All right, it's really nifty and really simple. Okay, so the recap, what we did, we talked about the ability to record sales. We talked about generating sales reports. We talked about that, but I'm about to show you how that happens. We talked about the ability to generate cashier reports so that you can keep track of the performance of your team members or your employees. Then we mentioned the fact that e-commerce is available, okay? So you can turn on e-commerce and be able to sell products from your now e-commerce website, which is still connected to your store inventory. So that's really cool. And then we also talked about the special offer. Remember the instructions, go to the link that was mentioned, and then during checkout, enter the code to claim the discount. Now, all of this, we've breezed through this in a little over 20 minutes. And I believe that this is good information. And one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is to take action, okay, as soon as possible. Many times people hear of opportunities like this, and then they put it off, and then they put it off, and they put it off, and put it off, and put it off, and then later they say, okay, I heard about this, but I did not take action. And all the while, their business is losing money. Okay, so at this point, I just want to dive straight into the demo. Okay, we're going to do questions and demo. All right, now the demo is going to be a very straightforward presentation. I'm going to be opening up an existing database, and then I'm going to show you how that database works. All right, I'm going to show you how the database works, and we're going to go over how your cashiers would open up a sales instance, how they'll make a sale, and how you can view the reports of the transactions. So when your team logs into the database, okay, they have the opportunity to see the different shops that are open. Okay, so let's assume this is a business that has 3 shops, one in Lagos, one in Accra, and one in Cape Town, South Africa. All right, now each of these shops can equally have multiple instances. So you can have Lagos shop 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, if they have multiple cashiers in those locations. For most of you who have been to places like ShopRite, you know that they have in some places they have up to 10 cashiers, and each cashier has their own terminal within which they post their sales. So you can do the same here. We can create all of these multiples depending on the number of cashiers available. Now let's take the Lagos shop, and we want to generate a sale. So when the cashier shows up at work, they log into the browser, they feed in the link, the special link to your cloud database, and then when they log in, they open up a new session for that location. So we'll click on it. Now, when the session starts, you see that it's downloading all of the necessary records into the browser, which allows the cashier run transactions without being dependent on internet connection. So we're going to, there's a cache control system, so you can have an opening cache indication. Here we're starting with 0 cache, open the session, and then there are products, so we can see all the products that are available in this retail outlet. So we're going to do a quick sale to a customer. All right, so we're going to sell this chair. See, while I'm clicking the chair, okay, I'm going to start again. Okay, so I'm going to sell 2 of these chairs, and I click the chair twice. We're going to sell whiteboard pens. I'll click 1 pack, okay, and a lamp, an LED lamp, okay. So total price has been revealed, and we're going to add the customer's name. So if you're interested in building up a customer database that would allow you keep in touch with your customers, this is a great time to do it, and this is a great tool to do it with, because now that these customers' details will now be available to all of your outlets. And in case you would want to give those customers the opportunity to take advantage of sales and so on from any one of your locations, I mean, they are already in your system, and it's relatively easy for you to gain access to their records and serve them when they walk into any of your stores. So I'm going to be picking this customer because she's already in the database, set customer. So you can see the customer's name is already set, and we're going to proceed to payment. Now, there are different payment options. There's cash, there's bank, there's POS machine. So we're going to pick POS machine, and we're going to complete the transaction by clicking validate. All right, so the customer's receipt has been generated. We're going to send the customer's receipt to them by email, and then they will receive it. And once we're done with that, we can, if you have a thermal printer, you can click print receipt, and this receipt will be printed out through the thermal printer. And then you go to the next order. Boom. Now let's assume someone else comes in and wants to buy a whiteboard, and you pick up the whiteboard. You're about to, okay, so you say Billy is about to pay, and then he says, oh, sorry, I forgot to get the marker. And then he runs off to get the marker, and there's another customer standing in line. What do? The cashier simply opens a new order, sells to the customer who is next in line. Okay, so the customer is Colleen. So he sells to that customer, point of sale, validate, and sale made, new order. And then the other customer comes back and says, okay, yeah, I got what I was looking for. So he says, okay, he went to get whiteboard pens. So he got whiteboard pens, and then you complete the transaction and then validate, and you're done. And your customer is happy because, I mean, I've been in situations where a cashier literally deleted all of my orders, so they had to start again. But this allows you to save the transaction and resume it when the client or customer has returned with the item which they forgot. So this is basically how it works. Now I'm going to close the session. So let's assume the store is closing and it's time to close the session. So I'm going to close the session. Everything seems intact. I'm going to close the session, and session closed. Now, close for the day. Now, you business owner are out of town or you're elsewhere, and you want to see what your outlets or your businesses have been doing. So you log in, you go to the point of sale app, and then click on orders. You can click on orders, and then you can see all of the orders that took place that day. You can see who made the sales, and you can see the customer's details. Everything is right here. If you want to view a report of everything, you can generate a report by going to the reporting tab, click on orders, and then you see a graph and a pivot table, and then you move to see all of your reports, and you can customize the reports by viewing by point of sale and so on. So it's relatively easy. It's relatively easy to check the reports because they are readily available in real time. You don't have to wait for an accountant to go over ledgers and then populate it and give it to you in a spreadsheet. Everything is instantly available as soon as the transactions are made. All right, so this is a demonstration of how to do a sale, how to record a sale. We've looked at how to generate reports. We can also do a check on the cashier. So if I say, okay, I want to do a check of the cashier, I think I can do a search for the user, I think. So here's the user who ran the transaction. So if I had multiple users, it would open up and show all the users and all the transactions that they ran. So this allows for really granular tracking of everything from the sales, the customers' transactions, and also the cashiers or the employees' performance at your outlets. So that's it for the presentation. I'll be going back over to the presentation deck. I'll be going back to the presentation deck, and so far I have no questions. I believe no questions means that my presentation was really clear and everyone understood it. So please remember, take advantage of the offer. Okay, claim the offer by visiting the link on the page. Select your preferred package. Use promo code. Okay, this promo code during your checkout process to claim the discount that is available right now. And then again, I would like to encourage you, take action. Take action. Don't sit down and say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it later. Once you start procrastinating, I mean, there's no end to how long it can take before you actually get something done. So don't procrastinate. Don't overplan. Don't try to say, okay, I want everything to be perfect before I release this thing. No, start something today, okay? And if possible, start tonight, okay? Start tonight, all right? So I'd like to thank all of you for joining. Thank you for being so understanding and clear. I mean, it's crazy that there's no questions, and it seems like all of you seem to understand everything that was going on. Thank you so much for being a part of this presentation. And let us know if you have any struggles. You can leave a comment in the in the chat area. Okay, you can also reach out to us and let us know. You can send us a message through the ticketing system that brought you into this event, and we'll be able to respond to you in due course. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a lovely evening. Thank you.